Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday morning. I am back to my live Monday morning little, chit chats. This morning, I want to talk about something, and I want to kind of spin it a little bit differently for you. Um, I really want you to define what failure looks like. And I know people talk about this, and you probably heard about this. You're like, Sarah, this is boring. And it might be. But here's where I want you to dig in this Monday morning. In my experience, you're stopping yourself from doing something because you are afraid you're going to fail at it. You don't take action because you start letting all the thoughts of how it's not going to work kind of like infiltrate, right? You allow all of these thoughts to prevent you from taking further action. And what I would love for you to do, and what I am myself going to do this week, is I want you to actually define what failure is. Define it, write it down, because I'm going to bet 9 out of 10 of you haven't actually done that. You've got this idea in your head of what failure is, but you haven't actually defined it. So I want you to write it down, define it, put it, the thoughts, put it into words so you've got a really good idea of what that looks like. And then what I want you to do is I want you to do everything in your power to actually make that come true. You're probably thinking, why on earth would I do that? Here's the deal, guys. You are preventing yourself from taking actions because you're afraid of failure, but what you're actually doing, you are failing now by not taking action. And any action that you take is going to lead to something that you have never expected. And I'm going to bet that your definition of failure, is different after you start to take action towards something. And your definition of failure is actually not what you really thought it was, because when it's in your head versus when you put it on paper, you actually see it differently, right? And I'm going to bet that the actions that you choose to take are actually going to lead you not towards failure. They're going to lead you towards a lot of lessons, and they're going to lead you to success that you have never even dreamed imaginable. And so when I suggest to you that I want you to write down that definition of failure, and then I want you to do everything in your power to make it happen, what I'm really meaning is I want you to start taking action, because once you have that definition, your actions are going to change. The actions that you take are subconsciously going to lead you towards not failing, right? Because they don't align with your initial definition of failure, right? Does that make sense? Like, I think what you've got in your head versus what you put on paper and the actions that you take or that you haven't been taking because you have been afraid of failing, it's going to give you a gazillion new perspectives on your belief system, on the actions that you can take, that you want to take, right? It's going to give you a new perspective on what you actually viewed as failure versus what you can view as a learning opportunity, as what you can view as growth, right? There's this power that you give yourself when you define things that have been holding you back. And failure holds a whole lot of us back. And so when you can define it, acknowledge it, see it, and then take action towards it, I bet you're going to start to see your own beliefs a little bit differently, right? You're going to start to see more success happening in areas that you, again, never even imagined. So this might sound counterintuitive, and it's supposed to. It is absolutely supposed to. number one, that's what I do, is bring forth all the counterintuitive thoughts, and let's look at them a little bit differently, because what you hear as failure and what some people say is failure versus what you're going to hear me talk about in terms of failure and about a lot of different things is going to be very different. And that's because I have very different perspective on some of these things, right? It's not the same regurgitated information over and over. I want you to look at how you are stopping yourself from seeing everything that you have been hoping for, because that's what it really comes down to, right? So for this week, friend, I want you to define failure, get it out of your head, get it on paper, really look at what that means, and then start to take some action. I would love for you to test your theory, right? What does failure actually look like, and can you actually make it happen? Right? What things would you need? What would need to have happen for your definition to actually become true? What would need to happen? And then I want you to test it out. For example, you've got a business and you're thinking, oh, nobody is going to see value in this. Nobody is going to sign up for this. Nobody's going to buy this, right? Okay, so if that is part of your definition of failure, then I want you to test that theory out. I want you to be talking to people. I want you to be messaging people. I want you to see what their response is. Test it out. Test it out. This brings in a whole new level of trust within yourself. This brings in a whole new level of what you are actually capable of. This opens you up again to success that you didn't think possible, but you've always hoped for. This is how it changes. This is how things change for you. All right? So, let's do it. Report back, comment, hashtag replay. Let me know what your definition of failure is. Let me know then what actions you're going to take to try and prove or disprove it. I would love, love, love to know what happens for you this week, what insights come out for you. Let's make it a really great week, friend. All right? All right. Much love. We'll talk soon.